What's going on everyone, my name is Ohara, and today once again we're gonna talk about the latest developments in One Piece. Again, as a quick disclaimer, this review is based on the Japanese original and none of the English translations, so if I mess anything up translation-wise, you can blame that on me. But once again, I think there isn't really too much ambiguity in this chapter, so I'm pretty confident that we'll be doing just fine. Now, this chapter here has not one, not two, not three, but 5 double spreads in it. And I think that already is a dead giveaway how much epic stuff Oda has crammed in here. Finally, the battle has started, and I think we're all more than ready for this. Also, quick spoiler, Kaido towering over the scabbards with his powerful snake-like body, framed by the moon, looks so unreal. One Piece has really come a long way here. And the shot looks so fantastic that I would bet my best coffee mug that Oda has had this panel finished, or at least planned out for a very, very long time. It looks like something that he would work on to relax and enjoy in between drawing other stuff. That's just some fantastic ink work right there. We also have some really nice color spread this week, instead of the continuation of the cover story, which really broke my heart. You guys know how much I enjoy these. But yeah, I think most of you will hopefully agree with me that it feels really nice finally having Jinbei integrated into these shots. Finally, the ambiguity of his character is over. Jinbei is an official Straw Hat now. But where's Yamato? Nah, I'm just kidding. But I'm sure she'll be in the next one though. The title of this chapter is Chushi Nishiki, which basically means the royal retainer of fine cloth, which is a pun with Kinemon's name, where the kin in his name is the same kanji as fine cloth. So basically the title refers to the loyal retainer Kinemon. Languages are so much fun. Now the chapter kicks off with a flashback Kaido has to Oden's execution. He remembers Oden's last words to him, that he shouldn't underestimate his samurai, and that his spirit should be living on even if he's forgotten. What Oden probably means here is that his spirit will live on inside his retainers. This becomes clear as we return to the current moment and see the scabbards in free fall on top of Kaido. When they try to penetrate his skin, they seem to fail at first, just as Kaido had predicted. However, putting in all their strength, some of them manage to sink their blades deep into Kaido's body, especially Kinemon and Kiku. As soon as it happens, Kaido suddenly feels a wave of pain from the scar where Oden had cut him over 20 years ago and cries out in pain. I think that this shows really well that Oden's spirit is still living within the scabbards, and Kaido even wonders if they have Oden's Ryuou, though it is ambiguous I think whether he means that they have it in general, or that they have specifically the exact same one as Oden. An interesting thing I noticed for the very first time here actually is that the word Ryuou contains the kanji for flow and the kanji for Sakura. While flow definitely makes a lot of sense here, I really wonder what cherry blossoms have to do with any of this. If you guys have any idea what that could mean, please let me know. Now, Kaido shouting out in pain, and the scabbards on top of him, they crash into the floor of the plaza, where Kaido's men immediately try to attack the scabbards. In that moment, Hyogoro and the other members of the Yakuza finally feel the time for stealth is over, and dropping their disguises, they stand in between the scabbards and the beast pirates. Big Mom meanwhile notes that this is indeed a very dangerous feast, and wonders if Kaido has actually been killed. I love how she says that without any change in her smile, because it kinda looks like Big Mom either doesn't actually think that Kaido has been killed, or she simply doesn't care either way. Whatever it is, I think her reaction to all this is simply fantastic, and made me snort out some of my coffee by accident. Not my proudest moment, I admit. Now at the very same time, Yamato has started charging towards her father upon hearing that these are the actual scabbards that follow Oden. Before her and Luffy can make it to the place where Kaido crashed into the ground however, they're stopped by Ulti, who has now finally caught up with them. Ulti is understandably furious at Yamato for knocking her out, and upon seeing Ulti approach, Luffy recognizes her and cries out, "It's Suzuki," which literally means headbutt. Luffy's nicknames have never disappointed me so far, but this one is exceptionally funny. I think with this, Luffy has already ruled Ulti out as a real threat, and I hope that maybe somehow she will end up on our side over the course of this arc, but we'll see. For now, she confronts Yamato about her intentions. In this moment, Yamato declares that the day where she has become Odin has finally arrived, and that she's no longer an ally of the Beast Pirates. Now, I think aside from the fact that Ulti understandably has no clue what the hell Yamato is even talking about, this is a bit curious, since we always assumed that Yamato was portraying Odin all along. However, at this moment she makes it sound like it's only today that she took on this role. Maybe she just meant it in the sense that she now truly has become Odin and no longer just strives to be like him. Now, meanwhile, Nami and Carrot have used the commotion to use their electricity powers to escape Big Mom's yokai, which I think was a cool scene for both of them, giving them a moment of strength and independence instead of having someone jump in for them. Big Mom, meanwhile, has finally realized that Luffy's also in the room, who tells her that he's busy right now, which is probably the most disrespectful thing anyone has said to an emperor ever, and I love it. Big Mom, however, ignores this and tells Luffy that she's come all this way just to kill him, and she asks him why he came to Wano in the first place, and tells him also not to come up with something funny like wanting to take down Kaido. And Luffy says, "Of course not, huh?" To which Yamato leans in from the side, who has apparently stopped her brawl with Ulti, and asks him what the hell he means by that. Luffy then steps up and declares that he has of course come here to take down Kaido, Big Mom, Orochi, and all of their subordinates. After all, this is an all-out war. Whew. Now, this is one of those epic Luffy speeches where you simply can't help but love Luffy for his attitude. This man is disrespecting Big Mom so hard in the scene that anyone watching must think that he has a bad death wish. Now, Big Mom meanwhile retorts that he must be joking if he thinks that he can take them on with just a handful of men, and Queen wholeheartedly agrees. Until he gets a report that thousands of new intruders have been spotted throughout the castle. At this, Queen's eyes pop out, as they tend to do quite often these days, and I really wonder if Queen's actually gonna fight anyone, because if he keeps this up, he might not even make it to the battle. Now we see Zoro, Kid, and Law approaching the central plaza, with an always increasing number of fighters behind them, and even more interestingly, it looks like Marco has teamed up with Perospero to fight their way through the front door as well. It looks like the shadow that Marco saw was Perospero after all, and it's also clear now that Big Mom's oldest son has abandoned his crewmates to look for his captain on his own. But the fact that he has now teamed up with Marco, I think I wouldn't have speculated in my wildest dreams, and I really hope we get to see the conversation between these two. I can only imagine that this is a very, very temporary alliance to make it into the dome, as these two seem far too different to have forged any long-term deal with each other. But who knows, and I mean Perospero definitely doesn't even care to pretend to be here on friendly terms. Now, while the alliance is spreading through the castle and battle is slowly breaking out all over the place, Kaido has gotten up from his fall, and while he definitely didn't take any significant hit, he has certainly been dealt at least a bit of damage, which we can see from the blood coming from his mouth. I appreciate that Oda decided to do this, because it gives some well-deserved props to the Scabbards and their power, even if they weren't able to take him down here. And to be honest, it doesn't even look like the samurai expected to kill him here either, as we found out that they have stationed the minks on top of the dome. But we'll get to that in a second. First, Kaido takes us back through the Yonko saga of the New World, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, and so. And shares with us his surprise that the Scabbards have actually made it to this point, just as Orochi had feared for all these years. He seems to really acknowledge that they've allied with Luffy and the Straw Hats, whom he now calls his enemies, which I also think shows some real respect here. But he warns Kinemon that, as pirates tend to do, they will abandon and betray them in the end, referencing what he just did with Orochi. Kinemon also catches this remark and stands up to Kaido, telling him that Luffy is different from him, and that even if they should die, he would bring the dawn to Wano anyway. Which I think is a very important moment, since much of Kinemon's and the Scabbard's thoughts have, quite understandably of course, been about Wano and Momo. However, it is really powerful here that he acknowledges Luffy and what he's done for them, and I think that his faith in Luffy is something that he hadn't communicated before this directly. So, good job, Kinemon. Kaido then transforms into his dragon form. He acknowledges Luffy's words and accepts his challenge, and he will show them the strongest fighting power in the world. And while Luffy stays behind to face Big Mom, Kaido takes the scabbards up to the roof of the dome to fight there. Now this here might be the most ambiguous piece of dialogue in the entire chapter. What does Kaido mean with fighting power? The word itself refers more to military power than personal power, but given Kaido's epithet of the strongest creature in the world, it would also make sense if he referred to himself here after his transformation. Now, if this were to be the case, I think it would be some real food for the theory that Kaido is actually a dragon who ate a human fruit, and I still would actually like this option the best, I think. Plus, we once again don't get a name for his devil fruit. Then we get the fantastic shot of Kaido and the scabbards on the roof of the dome, where snow is falling in the moonlight. Kaido says that he has finally sobered up, pretty much implying that he's 100% serious now, and explains that he wants to fight the scabbards in an open space, just as the last time that they clashed, only that Oden has since then already died. Upon these words, Nekomamushi steps forward, saying that this is not the only difference since back then. As mentioned before, the scabbards had anticipated Kaido not wanting to fight in a closed space and had positioned all of the Mink forces on this location, because here they can perfectly see the full moon. And we get a scary looking last shot of Nekomamushi preparing to transform. Holy shit, this just got real. I'm so ready for this. These guys better look badass in their Sulong forms. I didn't expect the Minks to face off Kaido like this in their Sulong forms, and especially not this early on. This entire chapter has me extremely hyped up, and I can't wait to see the battles with the Yonko unfolding. And I gotta say though, the way things are progressing now really speaks more and more for the theory that the Fire Festival will end in failure and that the Alliance will lose here. Despite all they have done so far, it just doesn't seem like they can pose such a big threat to the Yonko here. But I might in fact be wrong, and this might yet turn into a real big battle of Wano. Whatever it'll be, I really enjoy what the scabbards have done on Onigashima so far, and I really can't wait to see them face Kaido with all they have. However, I don't have a good feeling for them in this battle. What I also really liked was the Big Mom Queen dynamic here in this chapter once again. These two together are just pure comedy gold. Also, I really wonder if Kaido also heard Yamato's words if he heard Luffy's, and I'm more than curious to see what she will be doing from here on out. Also, I think that this chapter once again sheds some light on how Big Mom and Kaido perceive alliances. Both have probably not really made particularly great experience with them before, and it looks like the alliance between them is anything but stable. And so I really wonder if they will truly go down together, because I personally think that a Yonko betrayal would be in order somewhere down the line. Now, the break next week definitely hurts, but I'll be more than ready once the next chapter rolls around. Until then, if you want some more One Piece content and are really into Yonko, you can watch my videos on Whitebeard and Shanks to give you the perfect Yonko start into the weekend. Thanks guys, peace.